Hey guys, it's Mary Lucia. Welcome to this current member session with Valerie June. I am so excited. We were just sort of saying that this is never going to feel quite normal. I wish we were sitting in the same room, Valerie, but I'm so happy to meet you and happy to see you.
Well, this is super close. This platform that y'all are using at the current is top quality, so thank you for that. I love it already.
Where are you right now?
I'm at home in my Brooklyn apartment, so I live between here and Humboldt, Tennessee, which is my rural life, but I've been in New York for a bit now.
So, have you been in New York throughout the whole lockdown?
No, I was mostly in Tennessee. I came back up in towards the end of August, beginning of September. And so I've been here since then, and I'll go back to Tennessee in about a few weeks to start the garden there.
Oh, nice. We want to start with the new record, The Moon and Stars Prescriptions for Dreams. Um, Listening to some of the songs, I was struck with a sense of where do you feel most misunderstood in your life?
Misunderstood. Interesting. I mean, if my friends or family tell you, they will say that I'm kind of like an alien and that that maybe I'm from another world and that maybe I live in another world. So maybe that's the place.
What do you think? What do you
But
think they think is so otherworldly about you?
I don't know exactly. I think we should ask them
Yeah, let's.
because I think I need to start asking them, like, why every once in a while do I seem like an alien? I know I enjoy being a hermit. I'm
Me
very
too.
introspective and I like being alone.
You know, that is a skill that clearly has been put to the test in the last year. And I find that there's a sense of isolation that works for me. And then to a point where I just want to hug somebody. I'm okay on my own for the most part.
I'm with you with that. I'm at the hug point now. Like, I just see strangers sometimes and I like, just want to hug that little old lady or whatever.
Well, it is a crazy time in Minneapolis right now. If there is such a thing as collective heartbreak, we are experiencing it right now, and I think anybody who watches the news, anybody who is conscious of what is going on in the world, feels the sense of heartbreak at senseless violence, and particularly right now with the Chauvin trial in Minneapolis, it's really personal to us.
Well, I can understand that. I have been to Minneapolis many times now, and I'll say that there's so much love there. Like, it's rich. There's so much diversity. The first time I went, I thought, oh, there aren't going to be many people of color there, but there are tons of people of color of many different backgrounds and cultures. And I just feel like when people come to my shows, either at the Cedar or First Avenue, the elevation and the level of the spirit was high. And it would be, a mixed crowd, mostly white, I'll say, across the country and the world who follow my music. But I don't see the crowd that way. I see the crowd as spirits. And when they come, the heart that I feel that you're talking about breaking is so rich. And so sometimes I think it's okay for the heart to break. It needs to break because you break it open and it's like an agate stone. There's all of these crystals and jewels of positivity and healing and angular and sharp, and they can cut you, and it's a muscle and it might beat your ass every once in a while. But, let it break. Just sit in that, be in that is what I'm feeling like I need to do right now.
I think that's beautiful. I also think too with letting your heart break, is when change happens within yourself and hopefully those around you. And it's um, been brought to my attention. Are you a meditator?
I am.
Do you have
I try
anything
to
for
spend my
us?
day like that.
Yes.
Yes, I want to share just a short sound meditation, is what I call it. But it's really just focusing on sound words, harmony, tone, and just a short meditation with you if you're okay with it. So, I don't believe that you have to sit only or be in a like seated position or laying down, but if you feel like it, then lay down or get somewhere comfortable and sit. Or if you need to stand, just stop what you're doing and just bring your attention to your breath. And as I make the sound of the bell with my singing bowl, listen to the sound and how the sound never ends. It just trails right off, and where it goes, I always do wonder. But allow it to bring your attention to your breath. Here we go. And take a deep breath in and slowly release it out. In and just slowly release it out. And one more breath in and slowly release it out. And this time, as you breathe in, notice the rhythm of your breath. In, noticing the rhythm like the waves of the ocean, and out. Noticing the motion. In, feeling the rhythm as it moves through your body, and out. Feeling the rhythm as your heart makes music with its beat. And breathing in. Without me talking for a few breaths, just sit with that rhythm for a little bit. This time as you breathe in, notice the tone of the breath. We're all at a different place in our day. Is it heavy? Is it soft? Just watching the breath and noticing where you are in your day and being okay with that. Breathing in, noticing the tone, and out, noticing the tone. In and out. And I'll let you have a few moments to just breathe, noticing and watching the tone and the heaviness or the lightness of each breath. How does the breath land on the air? And take a deep breath in. This time, hold the breath as long as you can. Before slowly, very, very slowly, concentrate it with a notice to the cadence of each breath, releasing it out. And take a pause again, a rest, noticing the cadence. Before you breathe in once again, noticing the cadence and a pause and a rest. And out, pause, rest. And in, hold it deeply, pause, rest. And when you're ready, slowly release it out. Take a few moments taking those deep breaths, walking slowly, noticing the cadence, the tone, and the rhythm of each breath. And finally, taking a deep breath in, notice the harmony of your breath with the sounds of the world around you. I hear my computer humming as I breathe out. Breathing in, I hear birds singing. Slowly breathing out. I heard somebody closing the door to their car. Slowly breathing in. I heard a neighbor's footprint across the floor. Slowly breathing out. And I'll let you take a few breaths, noticing the sounds and the music all around you, the music of your life, and harmonizing your breath with those sounds. As we come to a close, I'd like for you to visualize a light. It can be any color you wish, and surround your entire body from head to toe, bottom to top, top to bottom with this light. Very iridescent and illuminate light, and slowly breathing in that light. Feel the color in all your body and out. Sharing that colored light with everyone else on this call. Surrounding each person with that light is the rainbow of beautiful light as we focus on our light out across the planet to all things. Birds, bees, black folks, white folks, old folks, young folks, mean folks, kind folks, all kinds of living beings. Surrounding them with the light that we have in this call. And they don't even know what's hitting them and touching them and making them feel uplifted and making them feel joyful in this moment. Take a few moments before I make the sound of the bell to just keep radiating that light, swirling it all around your body and throughout the planet as you follow your breath, as you listen to the rhythm, the tone, the cadence, and the harmony of the music of your life. You can stay as long as you need to in the meditation. I'm going to make the sound of the bell. We're at different places in the day, so some people will stay breathing as we talk. Other people will move into the next phase of their day. And listening now. The sound never ends. Dolphins can hear very high frequencies. Elephants very low frequencies, but they all connect just like our breath. There's a oneness. So I know that with the trial for George Floyd, what he said was, "I can't breathe." And with coronavirus, what that was dealing with and is dealing with is the respiratory system. And I just felt moved to share my meditations and my music practice and how spiritual music is to me, because I felt like the veil's been torn. We know where we need to heal, and breath and simply recognizing our oneness and that connection to the music of life is a way to get there. So that's why I wanted to share that.
Valerie, that was so. Can I call you every morning and do this with you?
Yeah, let's do it. I don't do it every morning. I do it different times in the day. So let's schedule it whichever time of day you like. I don't like rules.
This is amazing. This is a first, I think, for a current member session. Valerie June, are you up for playing a tune right now?
Yeah, for sure. Because it is April Fool's Day, I think it's a very good idea to try to play my song, Call Me a Fool.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what I need to do that? Oh,
what?
Yeah, there it is. I'm more ready than I thought I was. I call this song Call Me a Fool because I think that we need more dreamers on the planet. We need dreamers similar to the way Dr. King was a dreamer when he said, "I have a dream," and we're still pushing to see that come true. Or the way that John Lennon was a dreamer when he said, "You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one." To be a dreamer, you gotta be a damn fool. You gotta jump in the water with both feet and not look back. And you gotta let the world call you crazy. So that's in love, it's in life, it's in dreams. Just fearlessly let them call you a fool. They call me a fool. They call me a fool. A heart forlorn, a heart that's scorned and new love gone. Thought I had it under control, yeah. But it shook me, gripped me, grabbed my soul, yeah. Heard it pounding, knocking on the door, yeah. When I knew I had to let it go. Don't you know I wish that I could help it? Don't you know I wish that I could forget? But this new love's so strong, well, it's the power keep me holding on. Yeah, they call me a fool. Don't they call me a fool for your love, baby? Don't be a fool anytime. Don't be a fool anytime, anytime for loving you. Well, I've been wishing things had been different, but I guess the cards they fall the way they're meant. When the losers draw, you play the hand you sent. Beg of both, give and take and lend. And I've been drinking, staying drunk all day. Got me creeping, but it's not late at night. Got my life twisted, turned it upside down. Just a fool. fool anytime for loving you. Da 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 dee da da. Has anybody ever called you a fool in this life? Da 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 dee da da. Ever been called outside your name? Da 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 dee da da. For believing in something beautiful or trying to create something sweet? Gonna let this world call you a fool. See, you can call me a fool. Call me a fool for your love, baby. Die for your fool anytime. Die for your fool anytime for loving you. Thought I had it under control, yeah.
Valerie June, this is a member-supported current session here. This is such a treat. Valerie, your voice is so singular, and it's like a sort of like a fingerprint in that it really is so your own. And I want to know when did you find your singing voice?
I wake up and I'm trying to find it every day, even as you go throughout the day. Like, I wake up in the morning and I can hit some super low, like, Barry White notes. I'm really getting it, okay? And then in the middle of the day, I'm getting a little bit more open. And by the end of the day, I'm like, ah! I can hear some Carla Thomas notes by the end. But, yeah, like, I have to walk into the voice every day and just be like, okay, what is it? Because I know it's not. It is what it's going to be. It's wild. It's a beast.
That's what is so, I think, exceptional and impersonal, because you are so unique in that way. And most singers I can think of, when they first start singing, maybe even as kids, maybe there's less self-consciousness. And then as they become more conscious of other people listening to them, they maybe either are trying to emulate somebody. But you sound like you, and I was just dying to know if it's like that's how you came out of the gate.
I did try to sound like other singers, especially when I moved to Memphis and I started to be in the band Bella Sun. Mm-hmm. I really tried to make my voice sound more soulful, more what it would sound like coming from a black female. But it just was forced. It was not natural, and I think that the world needed to grow to the place of what they expect from somebody who looks like me.
I love that. Yes. I think that your Memphis roots, to me, I love that city. Well, you're in two cities right now. You're in just outside of Memphis and in Brooklyn, and both have, I think, incredible ghosts in those towns in terms of just the legendary artists that have shuffled around in that town of Memphis. And you've been able, well, obviously, you worked with Carla Thomas. And how in the world did that even come about?
Wow. Well, it was a total dream come true moment, because I loved her music, and I did live in Memphis for a decade and never met Carla. She played like 3 or 4 shows over the years, but actually getting to hang out and getting to meet her is hard. So Boo Mitchell connected me with her. His father was Willie Mitchell, and he has Royal Studios, which is just as famous as Sun and Stax, man. It's amazing. They did all Al Green stuff and Ann Peebles and all kinds of folks in there. And he called her and he said, would you be interested in working with Valerie? And she was like, sure thing. And so we had the best day together. It was just me and her, and we just talked about like Otis Redding and Rufus Thomas and all kinds of fun stories.
It's amazing. I feel like you possess a certain spirit in your music that I get the same vibe off of Mavis Staples. Have you met Mavis?
I love Mavis. You know, through marriage, Mavis and I are cousins.
What?
Yeah, there was a marriage between one of her family members and one of my family members years and years back. And so like, Mavis is the queen of
Yes.
heart and joy, and I would extract as much of her as, a role model for my life. I'll just steal as much joy as possible because she has got it.
I believe she is an earth angel. I've been lucky enough to talk to her a few times, and you're talking about that light, that incandescent light. Oh my Lord, she is astonishing. And yeah, I also know that, your father did sort of on a side gig, he did some sort of music booking or promotion in Memphis.
He did. It was actually in our little town, Jackson, Tennessee. And if you go to Memphis and you drive to Nashville on I-40, the biggest town you pass between those two towns is Jackson. And
Okay.
it's where Carl Perkins is from and Denise LaSalle. But we don't get any music there. So my dad had this dream. He was like, big acts come to Nashville and they come to Memphis. They got to cross through Jackson. Why don't we get them to stop? So that was his little dream he tried to manifest. And he did sometimes. Bobby
Do you,
Womack
oh
and
wow.
people like that.
That's incredible. And it was your grandfather who gave you your first guitar?
Oh yeah, Granddad did. He didn't want to, but he did. I was about 14 or 15, and he had one in the closet all since before I was born, and nobody ever took it out. And I fell in love with the sound of acoustic guitar, and I begged him at a holiday once, and I begged all day, and finally Graham was like, "Cut! Let that girl have that guitar." So Graham's responsible too.
I love that. Valerie, do you want to do another song for us, please?
Yes, this song is called Home Inside. Mm, mm, I know there is a place for me. Help me to grow that I may live and see. A stream that flows a well-known to find, that holds a key and steers my chattering mind. I know there is a home inside, window to soul where every dream abides. Each breath is gold, a pathway light, a guide. Garden to grow, keep on the sunny side. Some call it prayer, some say it should not cease. I must agree, it's how I find my peace. I'd be a fool to let it have a name. Earth is a school, to shine is why you came. Some call it prayer, some say it should not cease. I must agree, it's how I find my peace. I'd be a fool to let it have a name. Earth is a school, to shine is why you came. I know there is a place for me. Help me to grow that I may live and see. A stream that flows a well-known to find, that holds the key that steals my chattering mind.
Lovely. Valerie June, we are so lucky to have you here, and also lucky to have members that support public radio like Minnesota Public Radio so that we can do these kinds of shows. And also, I should remind you that I believe if you are watching this on Zoom, that there is a place for you to enter a question. If you have a question for Valerie, feel free to do that, and we'll get to that if you're not all too shy. But I feel like I'm always curious to know, as a songwriter, Valerie, where do you start when you're writing a song? What is there always a first thing that comes in, whether it be melody, whether it be rhythm, whether it be a lyric?
It's usually, for sure, it's usually a voice.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be doing something and I'll just hear a voice singing to me. Like, y'all play songs for people on the current who are just driving and doing stuff or cooking or talking to a friend and they hear something and it's like, what's that? I hear voices like that from wherever, I don't know where, wherever songs come from.
Yes. And then have you ever
Steal
had
those voices and bring them back.
Oh, you got to seal them. Have you ever had the situation in which you knew there was a song within you and you were having such difficulty either structuring it or just getting it out or getting it down that you had to like put it aside, move along, and maybe revisit?
Oh, yeah. What happens is they don't always come as a whole song.
Right.
And I'm a curious person sitting on the side waiting for the next chapter. And I'm like, okay, so how long are you going to keep me waiting here? And sometimes it's a decade, or sometimes it's like just a few nights, or, I mean, it can be a long time sometimes. And that is kind of painful because I'm like, tell me the rest of the story.
Well, you have worked with some really cool people, and I wonder about the process in the studio. Do you walk into the studio with a finished album of songs?
With this record, with Pushing Against the Stone, Dan and I wrote a couple of songs, and then I'd already had songs like Working Woman Blues that I did with. I'd just been knocking around with that for years, and I did that with the Hungarian musicians, but yeah, and then Pushing Against the Stone, that song itself, Richard Swift, who's not with us anymore, went over and started playing something, and he said, I got this I've been working on for a long time, and Dan loved it, and so Dan then started to play something, and then the music sculpted, and as the music sculpted, I started hearing like voices, and I just started singing what I was hearing. It was pushing up against a stone, there you go, there you go. And so sometimes I can hear voices after I listen to the repeated same melody of it again and again. If I'm writing with another writer, I'll just have them play the same thing again and again and just be like, wait for something to come. But that's not easy. If you want to talk about hard, that's hard. Because then you're trying to create something. It's pressure.
I want to know let me see if there's a message here for you. Yes, we have a question for you from one of our Zoom listeners. Joel wants to know, is there a venue in the Twin Cities you haven't played yet that you would like to play?
Huh. Well,
you did rock the garden.
Is there a church there? I did rock the garden and I loved it. Oh my God, that was such a high point of my life. Looking out at the crowd and being in the museum. I mean, yeah. And I also rented a bike and I rode to visit with the Mississippi River because
beautiful.
The way we have it in the South is huge, and y'all's is such a slither of her. And to know her from all the different sides, even in Canada, I go and visit with her. It's beautiful.
That is, you got to take Highway 61 if you're driving to Memphis. It's such a beautiful route, but then when you get to that bridge and you're crossing the Mississippi, yeah, I mean, it's connecting us, I think, as far away as we may seem from the Twin Cities to Memphis. It's like, nope, you've got that river as a conduit.
It's true. Maybe that's why so much good music comes off of that river, like from y'all down to us and us up to y'all. There's a lot of music on that trail.
It could be. Got another question for you, and that is, Jean said, just started a new job and meditation was a godsend. Do you use meditation to enter a space where you might be more receptive to hearing new lyrics?
Oh yeah, that's that's really what I try to do with it is like go to this world, this other world within this world. And that's one of the beautiful things about it is that we can be here on earth experiencing all the things we experience and still get to visit that space. I don't even know how to describe that space. But what I want to do is figure out how to bring that with me in every single moment. How do you do meditation in action? What does it look like to have it be a lifestyle? You know, not just a sitting practice, but Thich Nhat Hanh has walking meditation that I love to do, and mantra meditation, song meditations, different ones. So, how do we live it?
Maybe we'll never know, but it's a good quest for life, I think.
To
You want to play another tune and then we'll get some more questions for you?
Okay. This song is called Smile. And as we finished the record. Oops. I'm supposed to have that on silent. I'm in trouble. Boss is going to get me. But before we finished the record in March last year, then everything started happening with the world and the pandemic and the loss of John Lewis and the protests. And I'd already had this song recorded and I'd listened to it again and again trying to sequence the record. And I realized that this song is a song of using positivity as activism and how sometimes everyone's already said it. Dr. King said it. Harriet Tubman said it. So many of our leaders, John Lewis said it, about bringing together the oneness of humanity. And what do you do after everyone said it and we're still pushing and still fighting to see it to be true? And I believe there's a point of surrender where you just smile and you just know that you have this power in your heart, in your joy, and in your inner space that nobody can ever touch. And you use that power to move mountains like the ones we're dealing with today. So here's a song. All I could do was smile. Life started getting me down. All I could do was smile. Well, I dusted off. Guess I get back up. It was worth the fall. When the times got tough, there's a risk involved. Everything it costs, I'll make it through. I'll make it through somehow. Well, I didn't want out of dreaming so wild. All I could do was smile. Well, if you never leave, then your heart won't know. So you take the chance, so you just let go. And you're getting knocked down, but that's how you grow. All I could do was smile. All I could do was smile. All I could do was smile. There'd be tears in my eyes. All I could do was smile. But I make it through. I make it through. I make it through. I make it through. just feel torn, tangled, twisted, and twined. All I could do was smile. All I could do was. All I could do was. All I could do was. All I could do was smile.
Oh man, Valerie June here. This is a really special performance for members here of the Current, and questions are piling in here. Deborah said, "You've gotten a nod from Bob Dylan. How does that make you feel, and has it affected your confidence about your music?"
Wow. I definitely felt like I got a feather in my hat or a level of a degree from college when he said that, because I never went to school, so there are always those moments where you're like, well, should I have? But when Bob Dylan said that, I was like, nope, I shouldn't have. I did the right thing. So it certainly helped my confidence.
That kind of affirmation from Zimmy, as we like to call him here in Minnesota, is pretty spectacular. And though he's a larger than life figure, when you watch documentaries or interviews with him, you see this little slice of this humanity. And like, I keep thinking of him when he first went electric and he was in England and they were following him around for the documentary, Don't Look Back. And he gets in the car after the show and he's like, don't boo me. Like, hurt feelings. Like, don't boo me, man. I needless to say, I can only imagine the affirmation of hearing that Bob Dylan was a fan of your music is pretty spectacular. Have you ever had a dream of who you wanted to collaborate with that maybe seems out of reach right now?
Wow. Well, I mean, a lot of it seems out of reach. Even people like Sheryl Crow, who I've been on shows with, that I love and admire the music of, or Dolly, or, like, they're totally out of reach for me. I've was lucky enough to be on stage and get to sing with Jackson Browne and Mavis at the same time on The Weight, and that was huge. And like, even someone like Brother Theodis Taylor, who's an old 92-year-old piano player down in Georgia, who I don't even know if he still gets out and plays very much, but a lot of it does seem a little bit out of reach when I think about collaborating. And then I go back to the fact that I'm a huge hermit, so these are just thoughts that I toss around anyway.
Right. So we'd have to bring these people to you in your apartment. I have a see, I think if we're putting this out there into the world, it'll be maybe a little less frightening and a little more obtainable. But you know who I think you should collaborate with at some point in your life?
Who?
Sean Lennon.
Be incredible.
I'm gonna work on that.
Yeah, thank you. That would be huge. I would love it, love it, love it, love it, love it.
I think again, people that assume, oh, well, you're living in Brooklyn, you're in and out of these incredible historical musical cities, and that you would have just access, like you said, like Robert Plant lives in Nashville, like, maybe, but it's sort of an assumption people make that when you hit a certain level in your career that naturally you should know everyone else in this business, and that's just not true.
It's not. I've run across Robert Plant and different folks, but actually I need more nerve in the way of, hey, you want to sing with me on this song?
I hear you. I'm going to give you one more question, and then we're going to get another song. Let's see here. Sheena, one of our current listeners and members, said, what is your most favorite song you think everyone should listen to, And what is a song you think doesn't get near enough love?
Oh, that's a very good question. I definitely think everyone should listen to Home Inside, which is on this record. And let me see. Song that doesn't get enough credit. I think that would be my song for rainy days, which is Rain Dance. And yeah, today's a rainy day in Brooklyn, so I wouldn't mind playing that one.
Let's have it, man.
Okay, here we go. Da da dee da dee 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 da dee dee da dee la la dee da dee da dee dee da dee dee da dee la la dee dee da da dee da dee da dee. Well, I said, baby, when I think about you, I think of love, love, la 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 la. Love, 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 love. Yeah, now in the mornings, bright and early mornings, waking up alone, I'd be waiting by the phone, and well, it's all over now. Said, baby blue, well, it's all over 'cause I've got you. Gonna do my rain dance, gonna wash it dust down the bank, gonna do my rain. Papa, pretty papa, when I close my eyes, well, I get the feeling I'm needing some healing, I'm needing some healing. I'm gonna do my rain dance, gonna wash the dust down the bank, gonna do my. I'm gonna do my rain dance, gonna wash it down the bank, gonna do my rain dance. Gonna do my rain dance, gonna wash it dust down the bank, gonna do my rain dance. Song for a rainy day. I throw credit to Bob Dylan on that one too when I say it's all over now, baby blue.
Valerie June, it's just so wonderful. Again, and thank you to the members who make this kind of thing happen and make it possible for me to sit in a weird space that I've actually never been in before. But you're at your home. I don't. What is this behind me? I don't even know. I would have restyled this, I think, if I had had the time to come in here. But it's trying to find our way through a new and hopefully better normal. And like you said, you know, with heartbreak and opening up your heart, you'll find change. And hopefully, I mean, I'm not the most optimistic person, and I have a feeling you have that way over me. You have an optimistic heart. And I think for people to realize that sometimes you have to be almost broken before you start to see the world differently, and you think of people less as others and realize how much we're all here together experiencing this together. And it sounds corny sometimes, but I do believe that if positive change comes from all of this, that we'll all be better for it.
I do too. I have a poem in my new book, and
Yes.
it says, all are seen as self, a vast extension. And, you know, it does sound corny when you think about it. You know, it can sound like a bunch of hippie bullshit. And that's what it is if it doesn't have the action behind it that
You're
makes
right.
it real. But when you're really putting the action behind it, it's tough and it's work. And
Yeah.
it's like you said, heartbreaking and painful. But
Yeah.
we're going to get it done.
Tell
We're
me
gonna get
about
it done.
tell me about this book quickly. Good Lord, was there anything you can't do? Okay, you have a book, and is it of essays or poetry or a combination of both?
It's a combination of both. It's called Maps for the Modern World, and it's just even some are just lines like to keep people's hearts open and keep them like encouraged along the path of their own. And seeds of light is what I call them. Little bits of inspiration. If you're having a day where you're just like, I'm done with this shit,
Yeah.
open the book,
Yes.
and maybe one of the pages will say something positive to you to keep you going.
I mean, there is a certain amount of surrender that I think a person has to do when it comes to cynicism, like we were saying, and the open heart of, meeting the world with that open mind and open heart. And you do have to take the chance. It's not guaranteed that it's going to be better on the other side. But now that we've been through you got vaccinated, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
I'm
As of
jealous.
this week, I'm 100% able to go out. It's great. I'm gonna go order some sushi tonight. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm doing it. I'm finally gonna do it.
Yes. I mean, it's sort of like, again, it's the little small things that we're all grabbing onto and holding onto, like, this is going to be over sometime. We're going to get through this. We'll see you on the other side of it. And I think your positivity, your light, your message, your music is so healing. And we are also lucky here at The Current that you did this member session for all the listeners and this new record that you're putting out into the world. Just finally ask you, I mean, now that, yes, things are loosening up a little bit, but do you even dare start booking shows?
I really
know.
want to, and I'm thinking, yeah, we should just do it, and people should be forgiving. If we hit a fourth wave, then we'll just move it back to the next year, and we're going to have our shows though. We're going to have our COVID-free celebration of post-pandemic experiences, and it's going to be great all across the world.
I believe
I'm
you.
ready for that.
Oh, I believe you. And I want to thank everybody again. The people in radio, it's sort of a fact that people listen either in their car or at work. And when the pandemic hit, that kind of eliminated two of those places. People weren't necessarily driving to work or going to work. But we found that people were listening actually even more and longer. And never in my life did I think this job would be considered essential, but it's so essential what music does. And just the fact that it's the most I can do. Sometimes I feel like I should do more, but if playing like the new Valerie June record is going to get somebody through a bad slump, it's my pleasure to do it.
Well, thank you so much. I'm grateful for The Current, for all of y'all, your music of many genres. It's a huge span, so I appreciate that, and just giving you a big old hug right now because we need that.
I know. Thank you so much, Valerie. And I go get your sushi, go hug the chef, pet a dog, do what you got to do outside, and we'll see you on the other side for sure.
Thank you, Mary. It's good talking with you.
Thank you.
Bye.
And thank you to all the listeners. I really, again, we can't do these things without you. And your support means the world to us. It's what makes these member sessions possible. So thank you.